In the quiet corners of every kitchen, the humble salt shaker stands sentinel, a small yet potent symbol of flavor and preservation. Yet, beneath its crystalline surface lies a complex relationship with our bodies, particularly our heart, kidneys, and brain. The significance of understanding salt transcends mere seasoning. It is a matter of health, longevity, and vitality. For many, the misuse of salt is a silent epidemic, one that affects nearly 99% of the population, often without their awareness. As a child, I remember my grandmother in her kitchen, a place imbued with the warmth of family gatherings and the aroma of home-cooked meals. She would sprinkle salt over her famous roasted chicken, her hands dancing gracefully as she seasoned the dish, infusing it with layers of flavor. To me, salt was magic, a transformative ingredient that turned the mundane into the extraordinary. I never considered it a double-edged sword, a necessary mineral that could, in excess, lead to dire consequences. Years later, as I ventured into adulthood, I began to understand the complexities of nutrition. Salt, or sodium chloride, is an essential nutrient that our bodies require in small amounts for various physiological functions. It plays a critical role in maintaining fluid balance, transmitting nerve impulses, and facilitating muscle contractions. However, the modern diet, laden with processed foods, has skewed our perception of salt. It is estimated that the average American consumes over 3,400 milligrams of sodium daily, far exceeding the recommended limit of 2,300 milligrams. This excess is not just a matter of taste. It has profound implications for our health. The heart, a tireless organ that pumps life through our veins, is particularly vulnerable to the effects of high sodium intake. Excessive salt can lead to hypertension or high blood pressure, a condition that often goes unnoticed until it wreaks havoc on the cardiovascular system. The heart struggles against increased pressure, leading to wear and tear on its walls. Over time, this can cause the heart to enlarge, weaken, and ultimately fail. The connection between salt and heart health is undeniable, yet many continue to underestimate its significance. They may believe that a pinch here or a sprinkle there is harmless, but the cumulative effect can be devastating. As I navigated my own dietary choices, I began to pay closer attention to the labels on food packages. What I discovered was startling. Foods that I had long considered innocuous, such as canned soups, frozen meals, and even bread, were often laden with salt. It became clear that the food industry's reliance on sodium for flavor and preservation was contributing to a widespread health crisis. The irony was palpable. While salt was meant to enhance our meals, it was simultaneously undermining our well-being. The kidneys, our body's natural filtration system, also bear the brunt of excessive salt consumption. These bean-shaped organs regulate fluid balance and filter waste from the blood, but they can only do so much when overwhelmed by sodium. High salt intake forces the kidneys to work overtime, leading to an increased risk of kidney stones and chronic kidney disease. The delicate balance of electrolytes is disrupted, and the body struggles to maintain homeostasis. I began to understand that every time I reached for that salt shaker, I was not just adding flavor, I was potentially compromising my kidney health. In my quest for knowledge, I turned to research studies and health articles, seeking to understand the broader implications of salt on cognitive function. The brain, that intricate organ housing our thoughts, memories, and emotions, is not immune to the effects of sodium. Emerging research suggests that excessive salt intake may be linked to cognitive decline and increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. The mechanisms are complex, involving inflammation and vascular health, but the message was clear. What we consume has a direct impact on our brain health. As I reflected on my own eating habits, I realized that I was not alone in this struggle. Many people, caught in the whirlwind of busy lives and convenience foods, often overlook the importance of mindful eating. The allure of quick meals and instant gratification has led to a culture of salt misuse. It is all too easy to reach for pre-packaged snacks or fast food where sodium levels are alarmingly high. The flavors are designed to be addictive, drawing us in while simultaneously jeopardizing our health. I began to make conscious changes in my diet, seeking out whole foods that allowed me to control my salt intake. Fresh fruits and vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains became staples in my kitchen. I discovered the joy of herbs and spices, learning to create vibrant flavors without relying on salt. Cooking became a therapeutic ritual, a way to connect with my food and nourish my body. I experimented with different cuisines, exploring how various cultures approached seasoning. I learned that there are countless ways to enhance flavor without compromising health. Yet, the journey was not without its challenges. Social gatherings often presented a dilemma. Friends would serve dishes seasoned heavily with salt, and I found myself grappling with the desire to indulge versus the need to prioritize my health. It was a delicate balance, one that required assertiveness and self-awareness. I began to communicate my dietary choices to friends and family, inviting them to join me in exploring healthier options. To my surprise, many were receptive, eager to learn about the benefits of reducing salt in their diets. Over time, I became an advocate for salt awareness, sharing my journey with others. I organized small workshops in my community, inviting people to learn about the significance of salt and its impact on health. Together, we discussed the dangers of excessive sodium and explored practical strategies for reducing salt intake. The response was overwhelmingly positive. People were eager to make changes, but often lacked the knowledge or tools to do so. It was heartening to witness individuals taking charge of their health, motivated by the desire to protect their hearts, kidneys, and brains. The narrative of salt misuse is not merely a personal story. It reflects a broader societal issue. The food industry's prioritization of taste and convenience often overshadows health considerations. In a world where instant gratification reigns supreme, the importance of mindful eating is frequently overlooked. However, as awareness grows, so does the potential for change. By understanding the significance of salt and its impact on our bodies, we can reclaim our health and make informed choices. As I continued my advocacy, I encountered individuals who had experienced the repercussions of salt misuse firsthand. They shared stories of health struggles, the challenges of managing conditions like hypertension and kidney disease. Their experiences underscored the urgency of addressing this issue. It was not just about personal choices. It was about creating a culture that values health over convenience. Together, we brainstormed ways to promote healthier eating habits within our communities, from organizing cooking classes to advocating for clearer food labeling. Through these efforts, I began to see shifts in behavior. People started to read labels more carefully, opting for low-sodium alternatives and seeking out fresh ingredients. Farmers' markets flourished as individuals embraced the idea of eating locally and seasonally. The conversation around salt evolved, transforming from a mere seasoning to a topic of health and wellness. It became a rallying point for change, a catalyst for discussions about nutrition and self-care. As I reflect on my journey, I am reminded of the power of knowledge and community. Understanding salt and its impact on our health is not just an individual pursuit. It is a collective responsibility. It requires us to challenge the norms of our diets, to question the convenience of processed foods, and to prioritize our well-being. In a world where 99% of people misuse salt, there is immense potential for transformation. The significance of understanding salt transcends its role in flavoring our meals. It is intertwined with the health of our hearts, kidneys, and brains. By recognizing the dangers of excessive sodium intake and making conscious choices, we can reclaim our health and foster a culture of wellness. The journey may be challenging, but it is one worth undertaking. Together, we can create a future where salt is celebrated for its benefits rather than vilified for its consequences. In this narrative, we are not just passive consumers. We are empowered individuals capable of shaping our health and the health of our communities. It is a journey of awareness, choice, and ultimately, transformation.